Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I'm so happy to be with you again today as we consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. In today's episode, I'm talking about anxiety not being a life sentence. Healing your nervous system is real and you can do it. So this episode is for anyone who has ever asked themselves the following questions. See if any of these ring for you. Is this just how it will be forever? Will I always feel this way? And finally, am I broken? If you've been there, or if you're there now, this episode is for you because I want to tell you something I wish someone had told me sooner in a voice full of calm and certainty that anxiety is not a life sentence. It might feel like it right now. It might have felt like it for weeks or months, for years, even decades. I will tell you, I suffered with an anxious nervous system for a long, long time, and I have worked with people who have suffered for decades. But this isn't the end of the story. This isn't the end of your story. So let's get going and see what we can do to unpack this a little bit. But first, I want you to take that breath. I know I've been talking about this here and there a little bit. Take an inhale that just lets your belly relax and poof out. It's okay, nobody's watching. And then when you exhale, let it be that little bit longer and slower. That exhale is what is triggering your parasympathetic nervous system. And remember, I said a while back, you can't be pressing on the gas and the brake at the same time. You only got one foot in this anxiety driving car, and I want you pressing on that slower parasympathetic nervous system, the brake. We are okay. And now that you've had that breath break with me, let's see what we can talk about to get out of the thinking that anxiety is a life sentence. When you're in the thick of the anxiety or the panic, or whether you're down the wormhole, whatever way you want to think about it, that stress and anxiety is rearing its head. I want you to be aware of where it's happening. Is it in your physical body? Do you feel that kind of physical, relentless, disorienting feeling in your body? It's easy to believe when you are feeling like that something has gone permanently wrong. I personally remember thinking, oh my God, I've gone crazy. I was driving a car. I had borrowed a friend's car. I was driving down Erie Boulevard. And I remember thinking, I have to pull over into the center median because I've gone crazy. I can't be driving a car. I remember it so clearly. It's almost like it was just happening yesterday. It's so clear. That feeling of I must be crazy and there's no way out of this. Now, I am always going to feel like this. I can't continue driving. This feeling's never going away. This is my life. I didn't recognize my own self at that point. Do you know that feeling of not recognizing yourself anymore? You feel like something has gone permanently wrong. I was way down the wormhole. I had been stressed. My brain was in red, on fire, and you feel like your body has turned against you. That's how I felt. Something's wrong with me, my body. Your thoughts might be racing. Your chest might be tight. Your world shrinks. Like for me at that moment, I thought, oh, I'm never going to be able to drive a car again. I can't even drive it home. I have to pull over in the median. And then comes the fear that it is never going to stop or it's never going to go away. And often when you turn to the system for help, this is what you might hear. This is a condition that you will manage for the rest of your life, but you can manage it. Or here's a prescription. Or you might just have to learn to live with this. Well, I want to be clear here. There is no shame in medication. I know some people, that is what you're going to do. That is fine. There is no shame in that. For some, it's an important part of your journey. But what I am saying is this. You are not broken. You do have a life beyond this. You are not beyond healing. And there are ways to get back to calm. Gentle, slow, sustainable ways. And that's what I want to talk about today. There is so much that you can do. And healing is possible. Why do I know that? Well, not just because I healed, and many, many, many people, hundreds, thousands that I have been in contact with and worked with that have healed. And also because your nervous system is designed to heal. I want you to understand that. This is foundational. Your nervous system is not defective. The fact that you are feeling your adrenaline and cortisol and maybe feeling it more than you would like to, it is not defective. Your nervous system is overwhelmed. It's reacting to years or sometimes decades of stored stress, unresolved emotion, and hypervigilance. Talk about hypervigilance. That was me. I was on guard for everything. Scanning the horizon was my middle name. Your nervous system has been scanning for danger for too long, but that doesn't mean it's broken. It means it's tired. It's a different way of looking at it. There is not something intrinsically wrong with you. You didn't break your nervous system. It's just as if it was trained into that fight or flight response. We were living in a way that caused us to have this fight or flight response over and over and over and so close together that we trained it to be on guard like that and to be very sensitive. It can be gently retrained toward rest and safety again. How? Well, it takes time and it takes support and it takes practice or work like breathwork or mindfulness, nervous system regulation, somatic movement, boundaries, rest, and self-compassion. There's a lot. The same mind that learned the anxiety patterns can unlearn them. The same body that tensed in fear can soften again. This is the wisdom of being human. I remember asking myself, like many of you have, what happened to me? Where did my old self go? Will I ever be the same again? At the time, I couldn't point to a single event, but I knew I felt different. I felt off, raw, disconnected. What I came to realize over time was that what had changed was not just me. It was how I related to myself, how I related to my thoughts, how I related to my body and to life itself. My thinking had shifted. My nervous system had taken on too much. And what I did with the thoughts and the feelings that followed created more stress, more fear, more panic. But beneath all of that, the real me and my calm oasis were still there. They were just covered up by layers of fear and protection. And so are you. You're still there, and you're still whole. Your calm oasis is still in there. You being here listening to this podcast tells me something really beautiful. It tells me that you haven't given up. You're willing to look within. You're still hoping, even if the hope feels faint. Sometimes we need others to hold that hope for us just until we can carry it ourselves. So today, let me hold that hope for you. Let me tell you what's true. First off, your anxiety is not forever. Next, you can and will calm your nervous system. And finally, you have everything you need inside of you to begin healing. Not because you're thinking positively, but because that's the way your nervous system is wired to move toward regulation, toward connection, toward healing, once it's given what it needs. So while you're here with me right now, let's do something simple together right now. If you're in a place where you can, close your eyes. Otherwise, come back to this later. But let your shoulders soften. Take in a slow breath and release that breath longer and slower as we like to do here. And now silently say to yourself, I am not broken. I am here and I am healing. I'm allowed to feel safe again. Notice how your body responds, not with perfection, but with even the smallest shift. That's what healing looks like. That's what we're looking for. The little steps, repeated often. So as many of you know, you may have even worked with me, but I've worked with so many people, clients, listeners, friends, who thought they would never find peace again, who were convinced that they were the exception, that healing was for other people. Do you ever feel that? This comes up often. Well, mine is different. I've had more trauma than others. My trauma was bigger. My life was more difficult. I'm different. There's XYZ wrong with me. But over time, they softened. They practiced. They decided to do it just to do it. Whether it was going to work or not, they really didn't have much hope. But they practiced. They regulated their nervous system. They remembered themselves. And I want that for you too. Not just relief from symptoms, but a whole new way of being. A way that's grounded, present, clear, and kind. And I want to go back to that I said a whole new way of being. And I want to say here, that's what I'm saying because you're not going back to your old self. It was your old self that got you into the thinking and the reacting that took you down the wormhole. But as you heal and as you clear your anxiety, you are going to find a whole new way of being, a way that can keep you grounded, mindful, and keep you free from reacting to life in an anxious way. So please hear me when I say, you will not feel like this forever. There is healing in your future, and you already have everything you need to begin. So thank you for being here with me today. Let this episode be a reminder on your hard days, on the days you question everything, that you are not alone and you are not stuck. Anxiety is not your forever. Healing is not a fantasy. It's a path, one that you are already walking on. And so until next time, breathe gently and soften where you can and trust the process that we have here. I'll see you soon. And now for today's quote. Just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it became a butterfly. And that's a Zen proverb. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.